All right, so I've been asked by a lot of you guys to break down the difference between trusts. Basically meaning, are all trusts created equal? The answer is no. There are lots of different types of trust. You have revocable, you have irrevocable, you have grantor, you have non-grantor, you have complex, you have discretionary. Most trusts that people get are living trusts, okay? I'm gonna break these down into two categories. And this is the main way to look at a trust. You have a legislative law trust, and then you have one based on contract law, which is private. Every single legislative law trust is going to connect you as an owner to the assets. So even if you have a living trust and you put your home, for example, into that trust, you still own the home. Because all you're doing is you're just moving your home inside of your trust. So if you were to get in a lawsuit or a judgment or a divorce or anything like that, anything that is inside of a living trust, that trust can be penetrated because the assets are still connected to the owner or the grantor. The grantor is the creator of the trust. When you have a non-grantor trust, we use a third-party law firm to create the trust. They appoint the trustee and the initial beneficiaries, and then they sign a permanent resignation letter. You now have a contract law private trust with no grantor, and it is also spendthrift. The spendthrift provision on the trust that I work with protects and separates the assets inside of the trust from the trustee and the beneficiaries. Meaning, once we create this estate, it has its own EIN number and bank account, and it can own property just like you can. Meaning, you're not just gonna move or convey your property into this trust. You're actually gonna sell the asset, meaning you don't own it anymore, but you still control it. See, that's the key. You don't want to own things. The Rockefellers say own nothing and control everything. They're not saying to be poor. What they're saying is you don't want to own the asset, because with ownership comes liability, right? Meaning if I own a home, I have to use personal income that I have to pay taxes on in order to make repairs to the home, put a pool in the yard, or do any work to the home, right? Because when you own things, you have to use your own money, meaning you got to go to work, you got to pay taxes, and then you can make repairs and things like that. When you have a private estate that owns the asset, and that private estate also can own your business and generate income and not pay taxes, you can now use the money in the trust to pay all the trust expenses. Folks, if you want to learn these things, click the link in my bio and let me and my team show you how.